It is 13 past 2. If you're listening to the radio right now, you're hearing me with your ears, or maybe you're listening through your car radio and it's just beaming on through. And hearing for some people might need some extra assistance, maybe some extra aids as well. You see, today is World Hearing Day, a day to encourage awareness on preventing hear loss and promoting proper ear and hearing care. Now, this year's theme is From Communities to Classroom, Hearing Care for All Children. But why is focusing on children's hearing in particular so important, and what needs to change to better improve the rate of hearing loss in the Territory? Salimon Joseph is an audiologist from Territory Hearing, joining you today. Hello.
Thank you, Lisa, for this wonderful opportunity. The biggest radio station and independent radio station in Australia, ABC, Australian Broadcasting Corporation.
Bam, did Tegan in our audio and promotions hear that? Edit that up, Tegan. That's a promo right there. Now, listen, what are the rates of hearing loss or impairment among kids in the Territory?
I think, according to World Health Organization, the highest prevalence in Northern Territory, our indigenous population are disadvantaged, especially children, because they have got a lot of ear infections, otitis media with effusion and earwax problem. And that is why the World Health Organization clearly says that if the hearing loss is not addressed properly, this not only affects a child's ability to hear, but significantly impacts speech, language, cognitive, and social development, commonly leading to poorer educational outcomes, reduced employment prospects, and long-term economic disadvantages.
Yeah, and let's face it too, because sometimes if a kid is just struggling to hear, they might become disengaged, not because they're not interested, but it's an incredible struggle. And young kids don't always have the language or even the knowledge to say, I'm struggling to hear, because for them, that's just normal. They're used to experiencing the world like that.
Absolutely, Lisa. And many times we parents, we don't acknowledge when our children say some concern regarding Mama, Dad, I am not hearing well in the classroom. We don't pay attention. We don't take it seriously, and we don't take our child to an audiologist immediately. And that is why, as an audiologist, 18 years in audiology, I did my master's degree at the University of Queensland. I come across many parents after the diagnosis, they feel sad because I didn't pay attention to my child. My child was complaining, so parents, you need to pay attention to what the child says in terms of hearing. And the other problem in Australia, we all face the classroom ambience is very high noise floor. And we don't have the sound absorbing carpets or materials in the many classrooms. Even private schools, they cannot afford. You have to invest money to have ABC broadcasting studio here. We don't have any background noise in this room because we paid so much, government paid, or ABC paid so much money to create this type of atmosphere with the pin drop silence. So the schools, many schools, the ambient noise is very high. And that is why even a child with a mild hearing loss will struggle to understand the teacher if the student level is at 30 or 40 students in the classroom. So if we need to engage a child in the classroom very well, the child should have good hearing. If the child has got hearing loss, the child should have amplification to understand the teacher. Otherwise, always the child will be a little bit naughty because they are not understanding the teacher, and we brand them as naughty child.
Yeah, I have a niece who was having some challenges at school, and so we got her eyes tested and her ears. And one thing we found out is she was struggling a bit with hearing, and so a simple change that was made was her seating arrangement in the class. So rather than being sat at the back, where she might want to because her friends were there, the school discussed that it's better for her to be closer to the front, because not only is she closer to the teacher, but there was less distraction in that particular part of the room, and she was able to engage more as a result.
Excellent. And the other thing, as audiologists, we come across after we diagnose a child, And if the child has got a hearing loss in one side, imagine the hearing loss on the right hand side. We encourage the child to sit on the right hand side of the classroom so the child can hear better from the good side.
Mm-hmm.
So the seating arrangement also very important. If they have the standard classroom left and right, boys and girls, then we can arrange that way. Otherwise, if it is a round shape arrangement, then the teacher need to know which ear the child having hearing loss. And as you correctly pointed out, if a child has got a hearing loss, definitely they need to sit closer to the teacher. Sometimes the child may have borderline hearing loss around 20 decibel. Generally 20 or lower is considered to be normal decibel in terms of 250 hertz to 8000 hertz. So the seating arrangement also plays very important role. And in the home setup, whenever we communicate with the children, we need to make sure that we getting the attention of the child before we talking. The time when we were children, we haven't had electronic gadgets like today's world. The Gen Zs, they all have electronic gadgets, smartphone, and they are playing the games and the other things like watching video. They are in a different world altogether, and that is why always in the communication get the other person's attention before talking. That can be between partners, that can be between parent and child, and never underestimate the role of an audiologist, because the otoscopy, looking at the ear through the light, has got some many times we don't get a clear picture of the tympanic membrane through the otoscopy, because many children may have earwax in the ear. They have narrow ear canal. For adults, many times the wax will come out by itself, but for children, they have very narrow ear canal, and many times it will stuck in the ear canal. And when the doctor looks through the otoscope, they don't see the tympanic membrane. And the diagnosis is a little bit delayed and it's a bit hard to make a diagnosis. That is why many doctors refer to the audiologist for a tympanometry test, middle ear function test, to find out. That is why the World Health Organization this time highlighted that otitis media, the problem in the middle part of the ear. Around 90 million children between the age of 5 to 15 have hearing problem, the otitis media, all around the world. And as they say, that economic independence, every child in this world should be, one day they should become economically independent. To become economically independent, they need to have good hearing and the learning ability to become a professional, to have confidence in themselves, and then get a job and financially. So there's a pathway. So hearing is so vital, not only for hearing, to develop speech and language. We are living in a world, in a territory where 30% of the population is First Nation people. And the First Nation population, their languages has got no script. So it's passed on to oral tradition. And for them, hearing is so vital. And we had one time we had around 500 plus indigenous languages. And when the older people die, the language also dies with them. So
you need to be able to pass it on and pass it on.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a privilege.
You were talking about the wax. What's a good way to get wax out? Because, lots of people might have advice. I'll say, get a cotton bud, which I know you shouldn't use. I've heard, but people will say ear candles or the what's that plastic funnel thing?
The water irrigation.
Yeah, the water irrigation. What's good and what's bad?
Oh, very good question. Okay, I will tell you the answer. I see many clients in Northern Territory for microsuction. So water irrigation, the problem with the water irrigation is whenever a client comes with a full of wax in both ear canal, I cannot see the eardrum through the otoscopy. And then I don't know that the person has got a perforation or a hole in the tympanic membrane. And imagine a person with a hole in the eardrum, Lisa, and injecting lukewarm water into the ear canal. It is clear that a bit of water will get into the middle part of the ear. That itself will create ear infection. So ideally, in today's world, we should not be doing water irrigation. The best way to do is suction. A trained audiologist like me or an ENT specialist can do the microsuction. suck the wax out. Okay, the lowest age of a child which I microsection is 2 years. Okay, the child need to be hold it tight by the parent. Then only we can take it out. Okay,
And
because
is it safe?
it is absolutely safe, absolutely safe. And then I do a middle ear function test, tympanometry, to make sure that what is the middle ear status.
What about somebody who may not be able to access that type of ear suction, whether it be because of geography or financially, and they want to do a home ear wax removal? What are some of the home remedies that are considered safe?
I generally recommend if a person has got very hard wax, I always do the tympanometry and make sure that there is no perforation in the eardrum. And then I would recommend put some olive oil in the ear canal and close it with earplug to soften it, provided there is no hole in the eardrum.
Okay.
So I need to do a tympanometry test before that. So I don't know what a person who is in a remote part of Australia having blocked sensation, they can go to the local doctor or ENT specialist. If they have access to an ENT specialist, they can easily do the microsuction. And and some people now, today's problem is a lot of tradies, they use earbud, the buds to protect the earplug to protect the loud sounds. And by doing so, they are also pushing wax into the ear, and cotton bud also pushing the wax further into the ear canal, closer to the tympanic membrane. And each time when we do it, we are accumulating a lot of wax closer to the tympanic membrane, and no way. And the other important thing is, when we use the cotton bud, the cheap one when we can buy from the supermarkets, sometimes the head will dislodge and it will stuck in the ear canal. And no way you will, like a normal person can take it out, and then it need to be suctioned out. And even water irrigation will, the weight of that cotton will increase by putting water into the ear canal. So that is why microsuction is very effective, and all my clients were happy with the microsuction. It's a different feeling altogether. It's
Yeah, I've had it done before. You did it to me in the past. I was like, oh, yay, but it was actually fine. Salimon, you were talking about the wax getting close to the membrane. Will that damage the membrane if the wax makes contact, or it will just make hearing more difficult?
Hearing more difficult. Okay, the people will feel a blocked sensation. A lot of tradies feel blocked sensation by wearing earplug all the time, and not only the earplug, the AirPods. And a lot of youngsters, they enjoy music by wearing AirPods, and what it's doing is also pushing the wax further into the deeper ear canal. And ideally, the wax, little bit of wax is good. It has got many advantages. Okay, small amount of wax always help prevent flies getting into the ear, and it has acidic in nature. For the pH value of earwax is 4 to 5 pH, and that means is acidic, and it will kill microorganisms. But excessive wax, we are talking about excessive wax, that is a problem. And earplug, for a tradie, wearing earplug is very important, because they have to look after their hearing. And I encourage all the tradies, buy a noise cancelling headset. And like all the pilots will have noise cancelling headsets that is sitting outside. And that way you are protecting your ear, and there is no wax problem, and the hearing problem also you are avoiding.
Salimon Joseph is here, an audiologist from Territory Hearing. You're speaking about the wax. So does wax itself cause a problem? For example, can you get infection, or can it cause hearing loss, or is it just about blocking the ears and therefore not being able to hear?
You're only blocking the ear. And sometimes when it is very hard, it is very difficult. We need to soften the wax, and then only we can take it out. Otherwise, when I use a steel tool called Jobson's horn, and when I try to take it out, I always tell my client that there is a possibility of little bit of bleeding from the canal not from the tympanic membrane. So some people are happy to go ahead. Some people say, okay, I will soften the wax first, and then I will come back, and then we will do the microsuction. And the other problem in Northern Territory, Lisa, many people go through is otitis externa, that is infection in the canal. Lot of people having okay, like eczema, the skin peels off from the ear canal, and that need to be treated with a combination drug. Antibiotic alone will not solve otitis externa. That is why I encourage many of my clients, okay, just do artificial intelligence, like a search, what is the best medication for otitis externa? So it will tell, AI will tell, okay, this is the, okay, it's a proven strategy, proven record.
It is World Hearing Day, and this year's theme, From Communities to Classrooms, Hearing Care for All Children. Solomon, how much support is there for children experiencing hearing loss in the Northern Territory?
Very good support, but the problem is, as you know, I go to T-Bar Radio every Monday morning at 9 o'clock as a health promotion about talking about, okay, giving back something to the community. They telecast to 29 communities in Northern Territory. And unfortunately, the problem is even the biggest community in Northern Territory, the Maningrida, around 3,000 population, there is no resident audiologist. So the audiologist every 2 months or 3 months travel to the community, stay in the community for 4 to 5 days, and that is the only time the audiologist can see pediatric and adult clients. So that's a pitfall. They are disadvantaged because of the geographical location of the community, and a visiting person, they all have a list of clients to be seen during that visit, and they cannot see too many clients during that visit. So that is why our health corporation, Maningrida Health Corporation, need to take some initiative to try an audiologist for 3 months or 6 months, okay, if audiologist is available, and then provide them accommodation, and then provide, okay, all the support. Then we can trial. 3,000 population is a reasonable number with a pediatric and adult population, and the audiologist who is a diagnostic audiologist, pediatric, and a rehab audiologist, a combination. They need to have two skills, a diagnostic adult clients and pediatric clients, and the rehabilitation of fitting of hearing aid to elderly population. And the other problem in the community we have is we don't have proper hearing booths in all communities. And many times when I used to go to the community in Northern Territory since 2016 to 2023, some community I am doing consultation at the office, clinic office. So you can imagine a parent bringing 3, 4 children for hearing assessment. How can I keep the children, or the parent keep the children quiet in a testing room? So the ambient noise would be around 60 or 70 decibel sound while I do the hearing test. So do I get a accurate result? No, I will not get the accurate result. And when it is very hot and humid, the air condition will be on full on at the 40 degree, 45 degrees Celsius, and the ambient noise is very high, and audiologically we will not get the accurate result.
Solomon, how do you know if a kid might be experiencing hearing loss, or they're just saying to their parent or family member or caregiver or teacher, I can't hear you? And it's selective hearing, you know. I know with my daughter, she'll be on the iPad and I'll be like, woohoo, hello, hello, because she's deep in concentration. When do you know if you're dealing with an actual issue and if you should actually seek help?
Very good question. I had just 2 hours before I had the same conversation with the Katie Wolf. If it is between husband and wife, and they are around 50, 60, definitely what would be happening is the husband, the man may have a high frequency hearing loss. When we get older, generally what happens is the hair cells get damaged, and that will be the acceleration will be much higher. A person who works in a defense or in a noisy industry like a plumber, electrician, tradie, because the high frequency will be significantly affected. And the male sounds are typically low to mid frequency sounds. And the female and children sounds are predominantly high frequency. TH, S, F, T, this type of high frequency notes. So imagine when after the hearing assessment, we do the speech discrimination test. And if a person has got high frequency hearing loss, when I say fan, the person will reproduce as ban. They miss the F sound. So there is a close correlation between hearing loss and the speech discrimination score. So children, as you correctly pointed out, many children, they are with electronic gadgets and they may not hear the parent because we are not getting the attention before talking. So they are fully engraved in their gadget or the game. So between husband and wife, many time, even though the saying is there, my husband has got selective hearing or my partner has got selective hearing, there is some truth. Show me the audiogram of the person. I will tell you this is selective hearing or hearing loss. So the graph tells so many things. If a person has got a significant difference between right ear hearing and left ear hearing, then the person will have a problem called speech localization, because there is a disparity, asymmetry between the right ear and left ear. So that person will have, they don't know exactly from where the sound is coming. Imagine a new father or a new mother. They are not understanding from where the child is crying. It's so important. So, and there is another condition in audiology called a sudden hearing loss, sudden sensory nodal hearing loss. I always highlight in any interview that is a clinical emergency. That can happen to anyone. It's a viral attack to the cochlea. And tomorrow morning, I can wake up with no hearing in one ear or both ears. So I need to go to the emergency department of the nearest hospital, and I need to have a strong steroid by the ENT registrar or ENT consultant. And that within 1 week, we need to have that treatment. Otherwise, that hearing loss can become permanent hearing loss.
Salimon Joseph, audiologist from Territory Hearing, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you very much, Lisa, for giving this wonderful opportunity.